I want my dog to know that doing things for me is valuable, and just interacting with people brings good things.
Right.
So it's valuable to interact with me. It's not as valuable to go and interact with the vacuum. The vacuum doesn't give you much back, but I give you a lot back. I use rewards. I use funds. I like my vacuum too. But I want the puppy to know that it's the humans that are giving you the good things. Humans control the fun. They control the good things. Other things, aren't going to give you back what I'm giving you back.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be a really hard lesson to teach a dog because they do have a mind of their own.
Right.
I would expect nothing less. My new puppy comes home and I want to get inside that mind. I want to see what makes that mind tick so that I can plan my best tactics for making sure that puppy thinks, oh, the sun rises and sets out of your ears, as Gail McCann likes to say. Right? I'm always expecting a different ending.
I know, that's what I was waiting for, a different ending there. Yes.
That's the, what's the PG version?
Yes.
So I want to know what that dog loves, what that puppy really gets turned on by innately so that I can use those things to make myself more valuable.
Right.
But I can't just expect that for some arbitrary reason that my puppy is going to automatically see me as valuable. They're probably not.
No, they're not. They're not.
There are some dogs that will come home and, they love you from day one and they follow you around and life is wonderful, but that is the rarity. Right. I've had one of those dogs in my life. That was my Tyler.
Right.
And from 4 weeks of age, I would go and visit the litter every week and good friends with the breeder, still good friends with the breeder. And he's been gone since 2015. He was born in 2004. So, I mean, we've got a long relationship, her and I. And I used to go and spend time with them every week. And from 4 weeks on, that dog loved me. And I think I've talked about Tyler on the podcast before, and that I actually was at a point where I thought, if it's not this puppy, if it's not Sully, shout out to Ash, who's got a baby Sully too.
Oh, yes.
If it's not Sully that's coming home with me, I don't think I can take a puppy from this litter because I was so in love with that puppy right from there. And he came home and his whole life, he was mine. He loved me to pieces. I don't know why that happened. It happened naturally from that, 4 weeks on. I do know why that it continued to happen once he came home because he was a very driven working dog. He loved the work. He loved to work, and I was his outlet for work. So that innately made me valuable. But he was the rarity.
Right.
Because most dogs, they're not looking to humans to engage in that work. They're looking to other dogs. They're looking to the environment. They're looking to, that's where they're getting all their satisfaction.
Right, yes. And you figure for the first 8 weeks of life, unless they've had an exceptional breeder, most puppies are looking towards their litter mates for fun. They're looking to, for self-serving things. It's like, oh, look, I found this toy over here. I'll lay and play with it. So they haven't maybe had a lot of strong guidance from humans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that a lot of the times we sort of play into making things worse for ourselves as the society that we are. Excuse me. Where we expect that the puppy now needs to play ad nauseum and visit ad nauseum with every single person and every single puppy out there in the name of socialization.
Right. And people say, let them do this, let them do that. And then
go ahead.
The puppy then believes that, I'm in charge of these people. These people will let me do whatever I want. And now the people are losing their value to the puppy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we often have students who come in saying what do you say to the people who start to give you grief about what you're doing with your dog? I get so many people just saying to me, let them be a dog. And honestly, at this point in my life, I just laugh about it and move on. If I feel like the person genuinely wants to understand what I'm doing, I feel like they would word it a little bit differently. And I would be more than happy to explain, that at this point, I want to control lots of things because I don't want to end up with problems that I could have prevented with the control and have much more work to do down the road. I'm setting up for future competition. I'm setting up to have a dog that will work well in a very busy dog environment and not be sucked into those distractions, et cetera, et cetera. There's always method to our madness. And I think it's hard in my early days, it was hard for me to articulate that. It was hard for me to risk feeling like I was sounding rude to somebody who was essentially being rude to me by saying things like, oh, just let him be a dog. You know what? That's judgy. you don't get to judge what I'm
Right.
doing with my
Yes.
own dog. It
Yes.
has no bearing on your life,
Oh.
especially when it's a stranger,
Right.
right? So at this point in my life, I just kind of go, you know what?
Right.
You can either be part of it or you can not. But
Right.
if you're just going to make snide comments, then you're not going to be part of it.
Right,
And I'm going to
exactly.
move on with my life. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I
Right.
don't need to have you interacting with my dog. But if you genuinely want to know why I'm doing what I'm doing, then sure, let's chat about it. I'm more than happy to explain what I'm
Right.
doing. I
Yes.
don't need to justify it, but I'm
And
happy to talk about
The
it.
proof is always in the pudding too, because
Yeah.
sometimes you'll see those people's dogs and you go,
Yeah.
your method's not really working for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes, because you can see their
absolutely.
dog doesn't have much value for them. The dog
Yeah.
doesn't really know they exist.